for a second. Good is boring. Good is the comfortable couch you sink into on a Friday night when you actually planned to go out and conquer the world. You stay there, you eat some stale chips, and you watch 4 hours of a show you don't even like that much. That is the trap of being good. It is safe, it is fine, and it is the absolute worst enemy of being great. That is the opening punch of the book we are diving into today. It is called Good to Great by Jim Collins. Now, usually when people talk about business books, your eyes might start to glaze over. You might expect a lot of charts, some buzzwords like synergy or paradigm shift, and maybe a photo of a guy in a suit smiling like he just stole your lunch money. But this book is different. This book is basically a wake-up call. It is a 5-year research project that asked a simple, brutal question. Can a mediocre, average, middle-of-the-road company turn into a powerhouse? And if they can, how the heck do they do it? Jim Collins and his team of researchers didn't just guess. They operated like forensic detectives. They looked at nearly 1,500 companies and found only 11 that made the leap from being just okay to being absolutely unstoppable for 15 years or more. 11. That's it. So, what we're going to do today is break down exactly what those 11 companies did differently, and I promise to keep it painless. We're going to ignore the corporate speak and look at this through the lens of real life, using some analogies that will hopefully make you chuckle while you learn how to dominate your own life or business. So, grab a coffee or a water or whatever keeps you awake, and let's get into the first big lesson. Lesson number 1 is something Collins calls Level 5 leadership. Now, when you think of a great leader, especially in the movies, who do you picture? You probably picture someone flashy, a charismatic general riding a horse, waving a sword, and giving a speech that makes everyone cry. Or maybe a CEO who lands a helicopter on the roof, walks into the boardroom wearing sunglasses, and fires 3 people before breakfast. We love those stories. We love the idea of the celebrity savior. But Collins found out that the leaders who actually took companies from good to great were the total opposite of that. They were what Collins calls Level 5 leaders. These people were quiet. They were humble. They were shy. They looked like the kind of person you might accidentally ask to refill your coffee because you thought they worked in the mailroom. But underneath that humble exterior, they had a ferocious, unbreakable will to win. Think of it like this. Imagine you're at a party. The Level 4 leader is the guy standing on the table, singing karaoke, buying everyone shots, and telling stories about how awesome he is. Everyone looks at him. He's the center of attention. But when the party is over, he leaves a mess, and the next morning, everyone has a headache. That's the celebrity CEO. The company revolves around their ego. When they leave, the company falls apart because it was all about them. The Level 5 leader is the person at the party who notices the trash can is full and quietly changes the bag so the party can keep going. They're the ones making sure everyone has a ride home. They don't need the credit. They just want the party to be a success. In the business world, these leaders put the company's success above their own ego. They look in the mirror when things go wrong and blame themselves. They look out the window and credit others when things go right. It's a rare combination of being modest, but also being incredibly stubborn about standards. So, if you want to be great, stop trying to be the loudest person in the room. Be the most effective person in the room. Moving on to lesson number 2. This one is famous. It's called First Who, Then What. This sounds backward, right? Usually you think you need a great idea, a destination, or a strategy, and then you go hire people to do it. Collins says no, that is how you fail. He uses the analogy of a bus. Before you decide where you're driving the bus, you have to stop and get the right people on the bus, get the wrong people off the bus, and get the right people into the right seats. Only then do you figure out where you're going. Let's apply this to a road trip. Imagine you decide you want to drive to the Grand Canyon. That's your what. So you pack up the car. But you invite your friend Steve, who complains about the air conditioning constantly. You invite your cousin Karen, who refuses to listen to anything but polka music. And you invite your neighbor Bob, who keeps asking, "Are we there yet?" every 6 minutes. It doesn't matter that you have a great destination. The trip is going to be miserable. You'll probably turn the car around in 3 hours. But if you get your best friends, the ones who are funny, resourceful, and easygoing in the car first, you don't even need a destination. You could end up in a parking lot in Nebraska and still have the time of your life. The destination matters less than the people. In business, and honestly in life, you cannot motivate the wrong people. The great companies didn't worry about motivating people because they hired self-motivated people. If you have to spend all your energy managing someone, they're probably the wrong person for the bus. It sounds harsh, but keeping the wrong person on the bus is unfair to them, unfair to the driver, and unfair to all the other people sitting there waiting to get moving. So check your circle, check your team. Are they on the bus because they want to go somewhere great, or are they just there for the air conditioning? All right, lesson number 3. This one is heavy, but it's necessary. It's called confronting the brutal facts, also known as the Stockdale paradox. This is named after Admiral Jim Stockdale, who was a prisoner of war in Vietnam for 8 years. He was tortured, he had no rights, and he had no idea if he would ever see his family again. Collins asked him, who were the ones who didn't make it out? And Stockdale said, "Oh, that's easy, the optimists." Wait, what? The optimists? Aren't we supposed to be positive? Stockdale explained that the optimists would say, "We'll be out by Christmas." And Christmas would come and go. Then they would say, "We'll be out by Easter." And Easter would come and go. Eventually, they died of a broken heart. Stockdale, on the other hand, accepted the brutal reality of his situation. He knew it was hell. He didn't pretend it wasn't. But he never lost the faith that he would prevail in the end. He held 2 opposing thoughts in his head at the same time. This is really, really bad right now, and I will eventually win. Great companies do this. Mediocre companies lie to themselves. They look at the numbers and say, "Oh, sales are down, but it's just the weather," or "It's just bad luck." No, great companies look at the numbers and say, "Wow, our product sucks. We're losing money. This is a disaster." Okay, what do we do about it? Think about it like dating. We all have that friend who's dating someone terrible. The partner is rude, borrows money, and smells like old soup. But your friend, the deluded optimist, says, "Oh, he's just misunderstood. He has potential." That's ignoring the brutal facts. The Stockdale paradox approach would be saying, okay, this relationship is currently a dumpster fire. That's a fact. However, I believe I deserve happiness, so I'm going to break up with him and find someone who showers. You have to face the truth before you can fix the problem. You cannot fix what you refuse to look at. Now, before we get into the next concept, which involves a hedgehog, and honestly is my favorite part of the book, I have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying this breakdown and you want to become a level 5 leader of your own life, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm know that we are here trying to be great, not just good. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Also, I have a question for you. Regarding the last point, what is a brutal fact in your life or work that you've been ignoring? Is it a bad habit, a project that isn't working? Drop it in the comments. Admitting it is the first step to fixing it. Okay, back to the animals. Lesson number 4, the Hedgehog Concept. Collins draws this from an old Greek parable. The fox knows many things, but the hedgehog knows one big thing. The fox is smart, it is sleek, it devises a million complex strategies to catch the hedgehog. It pounces, it sneaks, it plays dead. The fox is scattered, it sees the world in all its complexity. The hedgehog, on the other hand, is kind of simple. It waddles along looking for lunch. When the fox attacks, the hedgehog does the one thing it knows how to do perfectly. It rolls into a ball of sharp spikes. The fox gets a nose full of needles and runs away. The hedgehog wins every time. Great companies are hedgehogs. They don't try to do everything. They don't try to be a restaurant and a software company and a dog grooming service all at once. They find the one thing they can be the best in the world at. To find your inner hedgehog, imagine 3 intersecting circles. Circle 1, what are you deeply passionate about? What do you love? Circle 2, what can you be the best in the world at? Not just good, but the best. Circle 3, what drives your economic engine? Basically, what makes money? The sweet spot right in the middle where those 3 circles overlap, that is your hedgehog concept. Most of us are foxes. We are all over the place. We try to learn Spanish, then switch to coding, then decide we want to bake sourdough bread, and we end up being mediocre at all of them. It's like that modern influencer who tries to be a fitness model, a crypto expert, and a political commentator in the same day. It's exhausting, and usually they aren't actually good at any of it. The hedgehog approach is saying, I'm really good at making spreadsheets. I love making spreadsheets, and people will pay me a lot of money to make spreadsheets. So you just make the best spreadsheets in the world. You ignore the crypto and the sourdough. You focus. It sounds boring, but simplicity creates greatness. Complexity creates confusion. Lesson number 5 fits right in with this. It is called a culture of discipline. Now, when you hear discipline, you probably think of a boot camp sergeant screaming in your face or a strict teacher measuring your skirt length. But that is not what Collins means. He talks about self-discipline. If you have the right people on the bus, remember lesson 2? You don't need a sergeant. You don't need a million rules and bureaucracy. You don't need to track exactly how many minutes someone spends in the bathroom. When you have disciplined people who engage in disciplined thought and take disciplined action, you don't need to police them. Think of it like a jazz band versus a marching band. A marching band is bureaucracy. You have to step exactly here at exactly this time wearing exactly this hat. If you deviate an inch, you ruin the show. That is how most big, mediocre companies run. They have rule books 3 inches thick because they don't trust their people. A jazz band is a culture of discipline. Everyone knows the song. Everyone is an expert at their instrument. They are disciplined enough to know the framework, but within that framework, they have the freedom to improvise and create something amazing. They trust each other to hit the right notes. Great companies give their people freedom, but within a very clear framework. It is like saying, you can do whatever you want as long as it helps us build the best spreadsheets in the world. It's freedom with responsibility. If you have to micromanage your life or your business, you don't have a culture of discipline. You have a culture of babysitting. Lesson number 6 is about technology accelerators. We live in a world obsessed with tech. We think if we just buy the right app, the right software, or the newest iPhone, suddenly our business will explode or our lives will be fixed. Collins found that great companies view technology differently. They never use technology as the primary way to ignite growth. They use it to accelerate what they are already doing right. Here's the analogy. Imagine you're a terrible driver. You don't know the traffic laws, you have bad reflexes, and you get distracted easily. If I put you in a Ferrari, does that solve your problem? No, it just means you're going to crash faster and harder. The technology, the Ferrari, didn't make you a great driver. Now imagine a Formula One champion. They are already a great driver. You put them in a Ferrari and they break records. The car accelerates their existing greatness. Mediocre companies panic. They see a new trend, like the internet back in the 90s or AI right now, and they run around screaming, "We need to adopt this or we will die." They jump into it without a plan, thinking the tool will save them. Great companies look at the new tech and ask, "Does this fit our hedgehog concept? Will this help us do our one big thing better?" If the answer is yes, they become pioneers. If the answer is no, they ignore it completely. Don't be the person who buys a $2,000 treadmill thinking it will magically make you lose weight. The treadmill is just a tool. You still have to be the one who wants to run. Finally, we have lesson number 7, the flywheel. This is the concept that ties it all together. We all want the overnight success. We want to launch a product and be rich tomorrow. We want to go to the gym once and have six-pack abs. But greatness doesn't happen like that. Picture a massive, heavy metal wheel mounted on an axle. It's 30 feet tall and weighs tons. Your job is to get it spinning. You push with all your might and it barely moves an inch. It feels impossible. You keep pushing. After an hour, it makes one full rotation. You keep pushing. It starts to move a little faster. Turn 2, turn 3, then turn 10. Suddenly, the weight of the wheel starts working for you. Momentum kicks in. You're pushing just as hard as before, but now the wheel is whizzing around at 1,000 miles per hour. It is unstoppable. That's the flywheel effect. The media looks at the company when the wheel is spinning fast and says, "Wow, look at that overnight success. It happened so fast." But they didn't see the years of pushing when the wheel was barely moving. They didn't see the grind. The opposite of the flywheel is the doom loop. This is what mediocre companies do. They push the wheel one way, realize it's hard, stop, and try to push it the other way. They launch a new strategy, get bored, fire the CEO, hire a new one, change the logo, and start over. They never build momentum. They just exhaust themselves running back and forth. In your own life, the doom loop is starting a diet on Monday, quitting on Wednesday, trying a new workout on Friday, and giving up by Sunday. You're working hard, but you're not going anywhere. You have to pick a direction and keep pushing, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Eventually, the momentum will take over. So let's bring this all home. Jim Collins didn't write this book to tell you that you need to be a Fortune 500 CEO. He wrote it to show that greatness is not a function of circumstance. It is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline. It's easy to settle for good. It's easy to blame the economy or your boss or your bad luck. It's easy to be the fox, running around chasing every shiny object. It's easy to ignore the brutal facts because they hurt your feelings. But if you want to make that leap, you have to do the hard stuff. You have to be humble but driven. You have to get the toxicity out of your life, get the wrong people off your bus. You have to face the ugly truths. You have to find your one thing, your hedgehog concept, and stick to it with fanatic discipline. And you have to keep pushing that flywheel day after day, even when no one is clapping for you. Greatness isn't a destiny, it's a decision. So here's my final advice to you today. Stop looking for the silver bullet. Stop looking for the magic trick that will fix everything in a weekend. Start pushing your flywheel. It might be heavy right now. It might feel like it's not moving. But if you keep pushing in the right direction, one day you're going to look up and realize you're flying. Thanks for hanging out and listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep your brain sharp. And seriously, go answer that question in the comments about the brutal facts you need to face. I'll see you down there. Now get out there and be